Alright, this time we got an awesome scrim coming at you with Reason taking on SynC. And so obviously this is a bit different, and chief among those differences is the fact that A, we have two really highly tiered competitive teams going at each other, but more importantly, Insania in his perhaps, I think, debut game with SynC eSports. As you might have noticed, they dropped support and have replaced him with Insania. Not sure what that means for support's future. I really hope he does get picked up, as I believe he is one of the better support players on the scene. And we also don't know what that means for Rexar's future, as Insania really their leader that's brought them into the limelight and turned them into a legitimate competitive team that took third place overall in the CIC Pro League Cycle 1. So hopefully Rexars are able to weather the loss of their captain, or perhaps pick up somebody else even better. In the meantime, though, Insania on a new team, and we'll see how he fits in with SynC here. Obviously, as you can see, this is going to be a pretty interestingly well-received game. Got some pretty awesome, spectators here. Hanskins showed up. Masera is here. Abraham, you might know, I believe was ex-TZP. Tang Zhang Peng, not sure. Awesome Strem of Suk Trijit, aka Mo, aka Angels from Gotet, aka Frez. I don't know, they have like 800 million, aka Sweet Superstars, aka Mo's Tavern. They've got like 1.5 million different names. I don't know. Regardless, bans are out, and we're actually well into the picking stage here, with Ophelia and Drunken Master being taken out by Imba Boy, removing the jungle option of the very versatile Drunken Master. Flensmeister taking out both Kronos and Puppet. Actually, I want to see right now if they're in game 2 here, because I don't know who is. Nope, apparently he's not in game 2. So I don't know if I guess this is just a one-game series. No, apparently not. So it is going to be a best of 1 then. As I just happened to find this while I was looking at other Reason Gaming scrims and seeing what to cast. Obviously, this one jumps out as one that needs to be covered. Anyway, bans are out for both sides, and like I said, they make plenty of sense. Nothing particularly crazy to talk about there. Legion side has picked up Rhapsody, Pebbles, and Empath here so far, so focusing on their on the supports really. Rhapsody at first pick, never a bad idea. Pebbles in their last game, which you might have seen, which was Reason versus Ogre, game 2, did quite well in Probosc's hands, so perhaps feeling the vibes from that one, they're going to pick him up one more time. Empath being the third pick, and I don't have any real disagreements with that. Torture's still on the board, and obviously a very powerful hero in his own right, but I think Empath pretty much right there up with him. I know people like Torture a ton, but I really do believe that Empath is an extremely strong support hero and perhaps doesn't get quite as much credit as she deserves, and being placed in that tier with Rhapsody and Torture. In the meantime, Hellborn side will start their draft off with Magmus, Engineer, and Flux, so getting that beloved Flux-Engie combo. Excuse me. On top of the Magmus, so there's a lot of synergy here, really. They could run the Engie Flux mid, they could run the Magmus Flux Engie mid. They could obviously combo those ultimates into a triumvirate of awesomeness, as you drop the energy field, you pull everybody in with Flux, all of a sudden they're silenced and purged, they drop an eruption on them because they're all together, and that's basically all of the damage and everything dies. So the team fight here for the Hellborn side, it's pretty good, I would say. Now they're going to be countered by really strong gank so far for the Legion, as they've got excellent lane presence with both their supports, and of course Pebbles, the quintessential portal key ganker. Man, my vocabulary is feeling really good right now. Triumvirate and quintessential. If you don't speak English, I'm really sorry. And if you do speak English, I might be sorry. I don't know, feeling good about that. I always like to drop in a few big words every cast just to tell everybody I'm not totally moronic. I do a lot of really dumb things, but every so often I'll do something mildly intelligent. Stop talking about me and keep talking about the game. Anyway, Bubbles, Moon Queen, and Wretched Hag are going to be the bans here for Imba Boy, as he removes Bubbles, which obviously has a lot of potential in various lanes. Moon Queen and Hag, both potential short laners, as Hellborn is missing that, as well as the possible suicide or initiate role of Wretched Hag, considering both Magmus and Flux have a couple different options. Flux usually played in that middle lane, but in looking at some of my numbers, Flux has a really high win rate for a hero that we don't see that much. He's right on that line between We see him enough that when he gets picked up, it's not really a surprise, especially when he's paired with Engineer. But not so much that you'd think that he shouldn't be picked up more, that he's already overpicked. I think he's right on that line of having a really high win rate and not being picked up quite enough to reflect his actual success in the competitive scene. But anyway, we'll see how SynC does with that hero here. Their bans were Swiftblade, Pharaoh, and Kraken, so removing the very popular Swiftblade. Similar situation to Flux, where he's getting more and more attention recently, and I think he absolutely deserves that. He's winning a lot of games and really needs to be considered among some of the best heroes in the competitive scene right now. Pharaoh, obviously a very dangerous hero, especially in Zane's hands, and there's the Berserk. And Kraken, of course, a very versatile, very powerful hero, so lots of bans that make sense there from the Hellborn side. They're going to pick up Madman and Berserker, so alright, we've seen Berserker before a couple of times, we've seen him own, and there's a very, very good way to deal with this hero. You have to address him early. The problem is Hellborn's lineup isn't going to be that good at doing it. At this point, I think their best option is actually to run an aggressive tri-lane and do everything that they can to shut down this Berserker. They've got a Flux who can solo. They can run Magnus NG Torture as a tri-lane. If they pick up a 5th pick here that is run as a solo, I cannot imagine them doing anything other than the aggressive tri-lane, because you have to shut down Berserker early. If you do so, he is a shit hero. He does nothing. If you do not address him, he will destroy your entire team. So a lot is going to depend on how they pick this and how they lane this, because Berserker, if he gets out of control, he's pretty berserk. But I do want to talk about Madman for 2nd, 3rd, 4th pick, because as seems to be a theme now, he is in the same boat with Flux and Swiftblade as a hero that wins a ton of games and I don't think gets picked up enough. So really, really exciting to see them here, because I think he is starting to emerge more and more as a viable suicide, especially because the number of really good suicide heroes is pretty low. A lot of the heroes, when played in the suicide role, it's just they don't do as well. They're a little dangerous, and it's not as nice. Now, the Doctor pick, oh, that's really greedy. That's really, 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 really greedy from the Hellborn side. Okay, if they run the aggressive tri-lane with Doctor, I'm okay with it. If they try to put Doctor solo top and run the aggressive tri-lane with Magnus, I'm less okay with it. Doctor is a decent enough hero in the laning phase, and he's similar to Berserker in that if you shut him down early, he has difficulty recovering, although not to quite the same extent. The problem is, like I said, Madman's a really powerful hero. So if he gets put in that suicide role, it's not impossible, I don't think, that he actually takes over that suicide and wrecks Dr. Repulsor. His stock and barrel roll can do a lot of damage. So without an escape mechanism before level 6, Dr. Repulsor could be in some serious trouble if he gets put up in that solo short lane. Now, if they run the dual lane with Torturer, that's going to be substantially better, but that's going to prevent them from being able to run the tri-lane on bottom to counter this Berserker. So I'm not a huge fan of that Doctor pickup. I get what they're trying to do with it. They want some late game, and I think they can go greedy because they're going to run the aggro tri-lane here. It's pretty clear, I think, with all 3 of these heroes running the bottom. We're going to see a solo Flux middle. I really think this is what they have to do. If they have to run the solo Flux middle, they have to run the Dr. Repulsor solo short. But I'm worried about Flensbeister's ability to stay in lane and to not get killed by Zane on this Madman, because Madman is such a strong hero. But we'll see, obviously. I mean, nothing's written yet. Meanwhile, the Legion side, we'll see if they try to counter the tri-lane. I suspect that they won't right off the bat. Once they see the aggro tri-lane coming up from the Hellborn side, they might choose to transition Rhapsody over. I assume we're going to see a Rhapsody Pebbles starting out in this mid lane, and once they do that, it's going to be hard to tell whose tri-lane is better, really. We've got a good stun from Magnus to initiate, but it's a little bit short duration or short range at the early levels. Chain Spike from Berserker has the advantage of being a little bit higher range, but of course, unlike Magnus, it doesn't get you in the fight, and it also can't be used as an escape mechanism as well. So, you know, one underrated and quite valuable thing about Magnus' stun is it puts you in position to get auto attacks off. You know, a lot of the things that you overlook with an ability like Chain Spike is you get the stun off, and if you do it from range, by the time you walk up and start auto attacking, the stun is worn off. So it keeps them in place, but it doesn't really let you do a lot more in some situations. So we'll see how they work this with the Chain Spike and how they work this with the tri-lane. Rhapsody is already transitioning over, so clearly they knew this was a possibility. And once they spotted out this tri-lane, they're like, yeah, we're gonna transition this because we can't let Berserker get shut down this badly so early. But this is basically going to be whoever wins the tri-lane wins the game, I think. And that's what's going to come down to here. Meanwhile, Engineer actually getting caught out. Nice wall, and Zlap is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to die here. So that's a real bad start, and I think they actually might have messed up there by not giving the first blood to Ibaboy, because they probably could have without really risking losing it. And so that's a bit unfortunate, but oh well. We'll see how things transition. Both supports from the Legion side now moving over to middle lane. Reason Gaming obviously off to a pretty nice start with that kill. You do have to consider as well that that Hellborn don't have to deal with a true suicide because of this aggressive tri-lane, and this is one of the things. This is basically the reason I really prefer aggressive tri-lanes. Meanwhile, the middle lane Flux getting caught out as well. Nice wall stopping everything, and that's going to be another kill. Adder going to be 2-0 here so far in the early going. Already at 455 gold per minute, and he's going to be getting a lot of real nice stuff. Has picked up boots already, and in a tri-lane that's going to be extremely valuable. But a point I was making earlier is the reason that I almost always favor aggressive tri-lanes is because you don't have to run a true suicide. So Reason going to have a slight disadvantage because they're running a suicide against the solo short laner. And obviously Flensmeister has the natural advantage from that fact. Because his tower is a little bit closer, it's a little bit easier for him to keep lane control with a pull if he wants to deal with that, although I suspect he won't. Meanwhile, Rome from Rhapsody, as he's coming up top looking for something. Zane here at 220 gold per minute compared to Flens at 234. So, like I said before, I wasn't convinced that that Flens was going to have the best time in this lane, and already he's not. He's starting actually to lose farm to Madman here, who is now just barely out farming him, and he's sitting pretty far back as Madman is sitting at full health, full mana, and Flens also has full mana, or full health, but not full mana. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Torture are looking for something here as they continue to box out this Berserker. So, Flens getting shut down, not the greatest thing for the Hellborn side. At the same time, they're doing a fantastic job of keeping Imboboy off the creep wave. Middle lane Rhapsody will put some damage onto Flux, but he'll be just fine, of course, with his relative tankiness. And Empath can also roam middle, so we'll see if they're looking to set up getting their kill onto Keizu here. As top lane Berserker has actually transitioned. Barrow goes down on top of the Chain Spike. Flens Spikes are going to die here as Imboboy gets the last hit, so good for him. He will be able to pick that up, and we'll see what the Legion side chooses to do here. They're pretty clearly transitioning Imboboy into this top lane, and I don't heavily disagree with that, I guess. I mean, I guess it's sort of fine. I'm not really sure if this is how I would have addressed this. I think Madman still has the potential to win this lane really, really hard, so I'm not sure if Imboboy needs to be here. What they need to do is reform the tri-lane. And for some reason, they're spending all their time. Adro's just been middle, he's been top a little bit. He hasn't been down there trying to protect Berserker's farm. Meanwhile, chain reactions going on there as Torture is taking the gank. But the stun chuck combination will kill Insania. Apparently, Hanskin already bored. And Reason off to a really fantastic start here so far. Staccato stuns go down onto Limp, and Madman going to come in here. Not going to be able to get anything off. Actually, no, he is. Double damage rune is there. Barrel roll also going to happen. Flux going to be able to push him away a little bit. Here comes Empath, though, with the wall, and that's going to be a kill on Keizu. So the Legion are owning.
Massacre!
And there that is. Kegsun not going to connect. Nice side step there from Empath. Will eat through the trees and make his way out to safety. So Reason rotating really, really well here. Now, again, I'm not convinced that this decision to put Imboboy top was the best, especially because he has no support up here. On the other hand, he wasn't getting anything bottom. And the rotation from the Legion side has basically ensured Probusk is one middle lane. Keizu sitting at 180 GPM compared to Probusk at 350. 1-0-1. Obviously very, very good for him. And Flensmeister as well on top, sitting at 270 GPM. Not the best. Imboboy here just below him as he's starting to recover a little bit. And if they get equal farm, it's hard for me to tell who's going to do better. Imboboy is going to have a pretty massive damage advantage, but one of the biggest issues with Berserker is the fact that he can get kited super hard. And obviously, Dr. Repulsor is just amazing at kiting heroes. So Berserker is going to find it impossible to catch this Repulsor. And as a result, it's going to be very difficult to kill him. On the other hand, if he does catch him, if he is able to lock him down with any consistency, Repulsor will die in like 2 hits. So it's going to be a matter of who's got the appropriate CC, who's got the ability to prevent the hero from running away. And Berserker also, you got to consider, not really the tankiest. You know, he is a strength hero, and you might think, oh, he just takes all sorts of damage. But when his ult isn't up, he dies real fast. So you have to think, you know, if Repulsor is able to catch him without his ultimate, and with all the ability to be as mobile as he can be, and how much Berserker hates that, it's very possible that Flensmeister will come out in this exchange. But then again, you can go right back to, well, Berserker is just like, all right, I'm gonna stand here, and either you come at me and I kill you, or you run away and I don't. But in either situation, I basically win. Meanwhile, in middle lane, we're going to see a jump once again onto Keizu here, but Torture now going to be the focus as they realize he was there. That's going to be the kill. Empath going to try to turn this, not going to happen. He gets the first death for the guys on Reason, and Probus going to perhaps pick up the second as they have so many ports transition here. Looking for also a kill onto Adro. Lava Surge is available. Nope, they're going to try to get it for, but nice disjoint. And, oh, Mickey. Oh, he started channeling his ultimate and then stopped it. Oh, that's painful. So Zane disjoints the Lava Surge Sun with the barrel roll, and Mickey actually starts channeling his ult and then stops it, so that's not on cooldown. It took his mana, and he won't have it for another 2 minutes, and does nothing. I actually had a friend, you see the animation sort of start to go off? I had a friend do something similar to that, and he's like, I'm like, well, why did you stop channeling your ultimate? You moved. And he's like, you can't move while channeling? And to which me and my other friend actually responded, no, you can't. And let's keep in mind here, this is a guy that's been playing this game for a lot, that had at that point been playing this game for like 4 or 5 years. I'm not even kidding. That's exactly what happened. It was awful. Now, to be fair, he plays like 90% Armadon. He just played Armadon every single game, and in that game, whatever. I think he happened to be on Magnus for some reason. It might have been a Mid-Wars. Yeah, I think it was a Mid-Wars, and we'd randomed. Anyway, stupid anecdotes aside, that just reminded me of that, because it's like, Mickey, you have to channel the ultimate, and you can't move while channeling. Meanwhile, Empath going to get caught out here. Kicks on top of the Lava Surge. Turret's there as well, and that's going to be a pretty easy kill. Tries to drop the wall to save herself, but not quite enough, so the guys on Hellborn turn that onto Saint Rocks, and this game's relatively even in terms of golden experience, despite the fact the leading side are up 6-3 in hero kills. They're not really up in either gold or experience. I mean, you got to keep in mind here, Flensmeister's still not having a good time, sub 250 GPN, but so is Imbuboy. And we look at the secondary carry options. Pebbles, you know, can transition pretty well late. Stalagmite's going to go down. Will catch Keizu here. Will get tossed over onto Rhapsody. Staccato Stuns will go down as well, but he's got teleport support coming in. Empath here and Madman going to get hit by stuns. Madman going to try to stalk away. Gets pulled back in by Keizu, but he's going to be able to get away just fine. Off to the side here, Probus once again actually going to toss Mickey onto Keizu and kills him. In the meantime now, Empath trying to get a counter kill onto Mr. Engineer, and that's going to be a 2-0 in favor of Reason. All of a sudden, Probus gets some trouble though as Flensmeister reports in, has the ultimate, he will die, but Magnus drops in the back, and now Flens has no mana. So he could be in a lot of trouble here. Has enough to get one short sprint away, but stock comes out from Madman. Chain reactions only hit the back two. Barrel roll is there as well. Won't finish him off though, and we'll see if they can actually do anything here. Staccato Stuns are trying to go on the Torturer. He has no mana, and pops a health potion. But that will be the end of the aggression there. Imbuboy has transitioned back to the bottom lane at 280 GPM. So, I mean, I keep talking about these GPMs, but it's so important here. Because whichever one of these two carry heroes gets more farm, it's going to substantially make a difference. And if either of them start to take off. Meanwhile, toss back there onto Keizu, takes the Staccatos on top of the dance floor. He's taking a whole bunch of damage, tries to put Rhapsody away, but that's not going to be enough. One more auto attack! One more auto attack! Nope. Keizu going to live just barely. As Flux is just so tanky. Haystream picked up here by Probusk, and we'll see what he chooses to do with it. Perhaps looking to run back middle. Obviously, Flensmeister has plenty of mana, so it's going to be very difficult for him to kill by himself. Empath coming in, though, for some assistance, and we'll see what the jump is. Flen's already using a lot of his mana, and We'll see if Probus can catch him. I believe he got spotted out by the creep wave, but now he sees Flens. And Torture will be able to do something. He actually lands the chain reactions here. That's really good, but Probus once again going to pop the haste rune and run the hell out of there. Not really feeling like he can reinitiate. Yeah, now he does. And he's going to catch. Nope, not going to find Flens here. So, bit of wasted time there from Probus, but looking for that kill onto Dr. Repulsor and won't quite find it. Legion having a slight advantage in both gold and experience, as they're not really farming all that well across the board, but they don't have anybody that's doing too badly compared to the Hellborn side, where Keizu's sitting just under 200 GPM and both supports are at 100 or just below it. Obviously, not the greatest situation for them, and Imboy continuing not be able to find farm, as they're doing the exact right thing. You know, they're saying, Berserker, we are not going to let you have an easy time with this. We are going to continually pressure you. We are going to make your life hell. And they're also doing a good job of shutting down Pebbles pretty effectively, too. Flensmeister going to get an Essence Link off, but actually will just jet away, and he'll be fine. Flensmeister, or sorry, not Flensmeister, Probusk having that early portal key. Meanwhile, in the background, Eruption going off onto Imboboy, and he's going to be in a lot of trouble here. 3 heroes are on top of him. Chain reactions will help get the kill, but he's healing up there. Somehow, not sure exactly how. Meanwhile, off the side here, Torture will get caught, looking for another kill on Engineer, and the toss will help secure that. So, ends up being a 2-for-1. Not a bad trade for the Legion side, but not the greatest either, considering they lost Imboboy for both supports on the Hellborn. And that's once again going to slow his spawn down, going to delay him from being able to get substantial items, the sort that he needs to become an impactful hero. And as I was saying before, you know, Probusk having that delayed portal key is a really, really big deal. Empath going to catch Magnus out with a wall, but we'll be able to Lava Surge over it, and Mickey is just fine. So the longer Probusk takes to get this portal key, the less map presence he'll be able to generate, and the less ability that Amberway will have to farm. So obviously once Probusk gets that portal key, it sort of restricts the opposing team. If they don't want to get caught out, they have to be a little more cautious, and that opens up some farming opportunities for Berserker. Similar situation for Magnus, although he doesn't have quite as much burst as Pebbles does, so obviously not quite as good at creating map presence, or creating map space, I think is a better term for it, but no doubt also a very important item. All 5 heroes here on the Hellborn side are going to group up, looking like they want to take this bottom tower and perhaps secure 1 or 2 kills. It's obviously very low. And killing this tower would do a lot to open up the jungle, prevent Imboboy from being able to do stuff. Lineson only hits 1, but Probusk is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to be the focus of the aggression. Nice ultimate from Rhapsody. Will save everything. In the meantime, all sorts of supports coming in here for the Light Legion side, trying to lock everybody down. Keizu going to get a bunch. In the meantime, Insania going to get picked off by Zane as the barrel finishes him off. Keizu going to try to push everybody away. Limp, not even in this game. But he's going to be the focus. Chain Spike goes down, and that will get the kill. So Imboboy picking up 1, and that's a fake Madman, so they'll be able to run away just fine. Legion side obviously doing very well to counter the aggression coming on to Probusk, and they actually do save his life. Adro with a really, really clutch ultimate there on Rhapsody. Did quite a lot to keep him from dying. Meanwhile, though, Empath going to get caught out here with Kegstone when Rado Tech will finish him off as Lapt gets the kill. So 13-6 hero kill advantage here for Reason. They're doing substantially better in terms of getting kills, but they're not doing that much better in resources, as the golden experience lead just slightly in their favor, not the sort of thing you would expect based on the hero kill score. And they're going to turn around this and try to push down middle lane, but once again the Hellborn side pressuring bottom. We're going to see 1 teleport, and I hope that gets cancelled off the side here. The jump is going to be on Imboboy. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. The port is cancelled, and Imboboy is on his own.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower.
So ends up being 1-for-1 towers. Hellborn coming out a little bit less on that equation in terms of the pure towers, but obviously getting Imboboy very, very valuable. Mid tower is slightly more valuable than the short lane tower, just because of the amount of presence it generates, the ability to control the map, etc., etc. Nonetheless, Hellborn are quite happy to have taken that tower down. It does, like I said, open up a lot of this woods, and they can safely farm it. For now, at least. It's also going to be much easier, of course, to gank. Flensmeister picking up a lot of CS from that. And both he and Imboboy are getting shut down pretty hard. The captains on either side not looking too good in terms of their overall GPM. It's much, much more focused on those strength initiators, with Probusk for the Legion and Mickey for the Hellborn. Zane taking quite a lot of tower damage here. I don't know if you realized that was happening. But Magnus will PK in, scare him off. And this game's looking relatively even. And I'm thinking more and more that it's favoring the Hellborn side. I don't like the... I don't know if Magnus is intentionally throwing his ultimate away, but he just did it again. I think he's trying to stop cancel it because it looks cool, but now his ulti's on CD. And I think the Legion side know that because they watched him and they saw the mana go down, so they probably are aware that eruption is unavailable. Faith Pebbles is hanging around in the opposing team's woods. We'll get actually a kill on a Snotter there. There's only one. Yeah. So Probusk picking up some Accidental Farm. Rhapsody comes in here off to the side, gonna find Engineer. In the meantime, though, Probusk will pick off Insanity on Torture, and Energy gonna drop the Energy Field. We'll see if Mickey can do anything here. Everybody getting pulled back in by Flux, Lima Surge onto 2. Empath gonna be in some trouble, perhaps. Chainspike gonna get disjointed there, but Adro gonna be the first to fall on that. Rhapsody Empath jumps inside of Probusk here, and they're gonna pick off Slap. So both supports on the Hellborn side are dead. Flensmeister gonna jet away as Mickey has the portal key and is trying to leave all of a sudden. So he gets tableted off that Essence Link. Keizu in the middle of everything, but of course fairly tanky, difficult to take out. Empath going to help Probusk run away, and the rest of the Legion side is going to back off. Ends up being the 2-for-1. No. And he will not catch Imba Boy on that Berserker. As the range from Mickey a little bit short. And I think he might have actually had the range on that stone, he just missed it. So not sure if he's feeling it right now, but... Legion side coming out slightly ahead of there, trading 2 supports for 1. And top lane continually getting pushed in here, is in deny range, so likely to see Magnus deny that. Will do so. Meanwhile, in the lane, Sania gets picked off. As the Word of Sight there sees him, and Probusk's like, hey, portal key.
Juice is loose. What you gonna do?
So,
Denied.
what may or may not be Insania's debut game with SynC eSports, not looking so great here. 0-6-3. Sitting at 90 gold per minute. Not super pretty. But this is sort of to be expected. There's some growing pains that need to be worked out. To be honest, you know, Legion side and Reason have remade their lineup a little bit recently as well, adding Probusk and Adro. And they've been trying out. They removed Tilla, and Death Growl, I believe, was the last regular mid player for them. They were playing with Masera for a while. They played with Panny for a bit. Over here, though, Rhapsody will get caught by Flensmeister, and is that going to be enough? Push away from Flux, and actually a 2-stun, and this is going to turn into 2 support kills.
Double tap.
So, nice presence there from Magnus, and he will help Flensmeister pick up the double tap. Well, I guess he got the double tap, not Flensmeister, but he and Flensmeister will collectively get 2 kills. Is the idea I was trying to convey. Most of the Hellborn side grouped up here in the woods, but in the meantime, Pebbles going to jump on top of Keizu. Chainspike also coming out from Berserker will get tossed on top of there, and the Insanitarius gets activated. One more auto attack will finish him off, but the eruption comes in from Mickey, and they will kill Keizu. They're going to trade for this, though. Amber Boy also going to fall. The energy field goes down onto 2, and Pebbles will die, so... Ends up being a 2-for-1 there as they pick off Keizu, and I think he's pretty okay with what happened there. Empath also in some trouble. Gonna take a Lava Surge stun. The Keg Stun also gonna help, and Flensmeister will pick up the last hit. Zane has stock available, but he's trying to get away, and is he gonna be able to live? Barrel Roll goes down as well. Mickey gonna take some damage, but he should be able to live. Ends up being a 3-for-1 there, as it went substantially in favor of SynC. And we'll see if they choose to push down middle. No. Double damage gonna be picked up by Flensmeister here in his lovely little bottle. I haven't talked about items too much, but Keizu picking up that Astrolabe on Flux, pretty common. As we regularly see the tanky mess that is Flux. Add some more tankiness with a 300 health heal. On top of his Steam Boost Missing Vestments, he's going to be really difficult to kill, and obviously we saw that earlier, it took Probusk and Imbaboy pretty much all of their stuff to bring him down, and as a result, they had nothing to deal with the Hellborn side when they came in for the counter initiation. Mickey picking up the portal key on top of push pull. So lots of initiation and counter initiation potential, as well as some hero saving, ally saving potential. Nether support on the Hellborn side doing particularly well. And of course, Flensmeister now 310 gold per minute, so his form's starting to pick up a little bit. We'll see what he chooses to go for. Has got the Sackstone on top of Vestments Bottle and Steam Boots. Picking up a Mystic Robe here. So, that's what it's called, right? Robe of the Magi? Apprentice's Robe, something like that. I knew it was a robe, some sort of robe. And that's likely going to be built into a Hellflower. SynC pressuring middle lane here as they've got all 5 heroes grouped up, looking to take down this tower and continue to control the map. Notable, of course, that the Hellborn have lost more towers than their opponents, and that's pretty significant, considering once again the delicacy of both of the carries on either side and how much they need map control. Mid tower will be denied. We'll see if Provost will pay for that. No, he won't. Staying off inside, going to get jumped on top of Imbaboy. Double stun from Mickey, and we'll see if Imbaboy can survive this. But a nice counter initiation going on in the back as the energy field will go down, but Provost trying to get the kills. We'll see if anybody dying. There's 2 fights going on in the meantime. Rapsy, nice ultimate, but won't be enough to stop the kill on a Provost. Imbaboy also falls by Flensmeister. And the rest of the Hellborn side is chasing as the 5v3 is in full effect here. Stock on Zane, trying to live, will get caught out. Flensmeister doesn't really have enough to jump him, but Essence Link is under torture. A fire roll will finish him off. And Mickey looking for a stun, will actually hit just as Empath jumps inside. That's going to be a death. And Empath not in a good position as a result. Should have just run away. That's going to be a 4 for nothing. And CC. Surprising. It's a little premature, I feel. So I hope it doesn't go through. Meanwhile, Zane with buyback, looking for some counter kills, but I don't think he's going to find any. Yeah, everybody in the Hellborn's had a little bit too high life. So they get the buyback out, and Zane does pretty much nothing with it. He will get some farm time, of course. But the 4 for 2 definitely in favor of SynC, as they do get the tower kill. Of course, it was denied, but picking up the multitude of hero kills afterward. Not bad. And I don't think it's time to concede, but Legion do have to be a little bit worried about their position in the game. Imbaboy is not getting the farm that he needs. He's not able to open up the map. He's not able to safety farm the woods. He just needs the rest of his support to basically stack these camps and ward the crap out of this jungle. As you can see, the Legion side has lost control to the Hellborn in terms of the vision. We have a ward here, which is nice to see anybody coming in, as well as one over here to help make the Ancients a little bit safer. But that does not prevent anybody from coming down here to the top river and off to the side to hit the Ancients. And obviously this one ward over here and the ward over here, not bad. Will spot pretty much all entrances to Legion Woods, but they don't prevent any vision within the woods themselves. That's a little bit much to be asking all of that, I think, but I think if you move the positioning of the wards a little more inwards, meanwhile over here Engineer will get caught out and he's just going to get screwed. Imbaboy can be given the hit, as he does need the farm. So unlike the Bloodlust, they're actually waiting a little bit there to make sure that Imbaboy gets the kill onto the slap there on the Engineer, and that's nice. So yeah, this is more of what I'm looking for, Adro. Thank you. Obviously, this providing some vision, seeing an entrance, a major entrance into their woods, as well as providing some vision inside the jungle as well. We're gonna have to move this ward from outside the lane to a little bit more in this area, so it spots what's going on in the woods, as well as people potentially coming into the jungle. Empath wall getting dropped there. Will stop KZ from doing anything, pushing them away, and they're looking for the deny. Both sort of staring at each other, trying to go, okay, one of us going to get denied. Empath going to hop inside of Zane here, and Zane will stalk away. Both of them will just fine. Regen room will be picked up here. And top tower will get killed by Flensmeister, so that ends up being the 3rd tier 1. Meanwhile, in the lane, Probo's going to jump onto Mickey here, but he'll be able to lava surge away. Should be okay. Now, Wall from Earth does nothing, but he's still in a lot of trouble, and that's going to be the kill. Flensmeister jetting in from the side, though, and they're going to try to turn this on Rhapsody. Should be able to. Energy Field going to help clean up that kill. Perhaps not necessary, but very possibly perhaps preventing further aggression from the Legion side, trying to kill them the Flensmeister. or turn that into Flensmeister, who was relatively low on mana after that fight. Has picked up the single Arcana, has enough to buy his second, and progressing nicely into that Hellflower. Legion side, we pretty much haven't talked about their items at all, but it looks like Probusk is going for his Shrunken Head here. No doubt it's a strong pickup considering Mickey's ultimate and Flensmeister's general annoyingness plus the energy field. Shrunken obviously going to be very powerful. Berserker's looking for a Shrunken of his own after his Insanitarius. And Madman the closest, in fact, to a Shrunken. So we're going to see 3 Shrunken Heads here on the Legion side relatively soon. I believe Probusk only about 1,000 gold off, and Berserker closer to 3,400 gold away, 200 gold away, 3,300 gold away. Flux could pull in, gonna spot Berserker here. He's gonna try to port, but that's not gonna be successful as the Keg Stun stops him. Also gonna be in a lot of trouble. Chain Spike goes down, but the ultimate there gonna do a lot of damage to Flensmeister. We'll see if they can actually get a kill. Yep, that's what I was talking about with Doctor can kite him, but if he doesn't do that, then Flens or Envoy will like 2-hit him. So earlier when I said, Dr. Repulsor, it's hard to tell who's going to be better because Dr. Repulsor has that kite factor that that Berserker hates, but if he doesn't do that, Berserker will like 2-shot him. That's exactly what I meant. Anyway, nice pick on Envoy. It's too bad it cost them Flens, and actually in the end, Envoy might not be too unhappy about that. As yeah, he got 360 gold out of that, and he's dead for less than a minute, so that actually helped his farm. No, it didn't. Sorry, because he died too. What am I even talking about? But it didn't hurt him as much as it probably should have. Meanwhile, bottom lane, jump once again onto Zane. He will pop the Shrunken Head, and that's going to be a kill. So, Annie getting the last hit. AKA Annie, AKA Mickey. Meanwhile, off the side here, Probusk can try to do some Ancients, but he will be potentially turned on. Empath is inside of him. Kaiser going to initiate there with the pull-in. Chain reactions also will connect. Torment and Impalement doing all sorts of work here. Empath, while not going to be too effective, and now she's in a lot of trouble as well. Rhapsody off to the side here should be able to get away, as Berserker also not in too much trouble, but ends up being a 2-for-0 push away, but Rhapsody still, of course, does not cancel the port. And interesting, I'm not sure if Keizu meant to push everybody away or pull them in. If he had pulled Rhapsody in, I think Mickey might have been there with the push book or the Lava Surge to be able to stop that TP and pick up a 3rd kill, but not a big deal, as they will be able to push down this middle tower at least a little bit. And they could probably kill this if they commit to it. 3 heroes are still left to the Legion side. Now both Zane and Saint Rocks are respawning. But they're going to get this tower kill in the middle. We'll see if it's denied or not. Well, if they'll have to pay with any hero kills. Chain Spike goes down, plus the wall. Kegstun pushes him away, though. Essence Link also going to be there, and stun. KZ definitely going to die. Meanwhile, in the background, Mickey channeling up the ultimate. Hits all sorts of heroes. Flensmeister now going to clean up onto everybody as he gets away with just a bit of health and no mana. Probusk here looking for the reinitiation. No portal key available, though, and the Hellborn side will be able to jet on out of there. Gets the 3-for-1 pick, and now they're looking for the reinitiation. They don't have enough mana on Mickey, though, for both. He does on Int Treads, and actually he's going to jump there on top of Empath. We'll see if she can do anything. Drops the wall. She will be alright. Probusk Pebble's going to reinitiate there. Will pick off Slap and pop a Shrunken Head, so he's just going to try to run out of here. Empath going to also jump inside and speed him away, so solid pick there. It does cost him a Shrunken cooldown, but nice kill on the Engineer. 25 to 24 hero kill leap, so I think this is the first time in the game the Hellborn have actually taken the hero kill lead. They're pretty substantially in both golden experience as well. But this is not insurmountable, I don't think, for the Legion side. If the Hellborn misplays some stuff, if they try to push high ground a little bit too early, then the Legion can definitely come back. Paul's coming out, but we don't care. Adro DCing, presumably he'll be back. Indeed he is. I think Conquer is going to be the next big thing. Ancients are triple stacked here, and we'll see who chooses to try to pick them off. Berserker getting some farm in the bottom lane. Mickey picking up the sheepstick. It's a bit interesting. Because of the way that that Berserker's ultimate stops or slows the duration of debuffs, I'm not convinced that that's the best pickup. On the other hand, with the Portal Key initiation, he can probably get that off before Imboy is able to hit his ult. So, yeah, that's fine. Obviously, the Hellflower follow-up from Flesmeister, as well as the various stuns, including the opposite charges. That's going to help lock him down. They're really going to be focused, I think, on killing Berserker, primarily. Talking about the fact that Han is now expanding into China. So it's interesting for me. Meanwhile, up top here, St. Rock's going to jump. Will drop for it. Easy kill there, but we'll see if they can actually turn this into anything. Sheepstick goes down, and Mickey is probably going to pay for this. Tries to push book himself away. Gets the Steam Bath, but the throw there from Zane. Nice Lava Surge. So many getaways, and the Portal Key's there as well. Sorry, interesting in this conversation. Yeah, I mean it's. I don't know how much chat you guys are reading, but they're basically talking about you know, Han moving to China and how big it's going to be. I think it's definitely going to help. I mean, it's just such a huge player base there that it's impossible not to gain at least a few thousand regular players. Perhaps a few tens of thousands, maybe. That might be even more accurate. But I mean, there's a billion people there, and it's hard to tell what the impact of that is going to be. Hopefully, it's going to be great. And I know a lot of people like to shit on S2 because it's interesting. You know, this game was bigger than LoL for a while. You know, League just had some issues with getting itself out there. Meanwhile, Conqueror going down. Obviously, Han much closer to Dota than LoL was. And it should be relatively easy Conqueror kill. I'm carrying on two conversations at once. I realize that, but I don't know. Everybody sort of likes to shit on S2 because I do think they made some mistakes. I think they were late in trying to foster the competitive scene as much as they should have been, because that really is their best marketing tool, and perhaps they didn't realize that. And I think now they feel like it's too late, and I don't think that's true. I think they could really do a lot if they invest heavily in the competitive scene. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be their own dollars. You look at the amount of sponsorships that the teams get for major tournaments, and Valve is not putting up all the money for a lot of these events. It's outside individuals. So, you know, Riot's not putting up all the money for a lot of these tournaments. It's other tournament organizers, it's other sponsors. They're interested in doing that, and it feels like S2 is not doing enough to try to engage sponsors, try to get the game companies, try to get the computer companies on board and have them chuck 10 grand, 5 grand at a tournament and see where that goes, because I mean that's less expensive, I think, for them to try to generate interest and dollars from outside than it would be to do it internally. Because I mean that takes time and an effort, and somebody has to do it.
Destroyed a Legion tower.
And then obviously that costs resources for them, but I think in the long run it's less expensive, and it lends a lot of credibility. You know, when a major gaming company, if AMD or Nvidia or, you know, QPad or something like that is coming at you and putting on a big tournament. That lets credibility. Me want to jump here by Probusk onto Flensmeister. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. Has a token, of course, but he's going to have to burn it right away. NG Field getting doned out, and the Flux Ultimate. Ultra up drops onto a couple. But of course, the Shrunken Heads are up. Emboy going crazy here, trying to get everything out, but he gets Sheepstick, and that's going to be the death. Empath also going to get pushed out, but he'll be having to run away. Ends up being a bunch of kills here for the Legion side, having only lost Imboy. They're going to turn this also onto Mickey, see if they can get a kill. And Wall goes out. One more auto attack will finish him off. Flensmeister going to have to run the hell away. Ends up being a 4-for-1. Probusk now still looking for the jump. And we'll see if Flens can live through this, actually. He's got no mana. And Probusk's going to have the portal key back up in a few seconds. So Flens trying to hide in the woods here. They're going to find it. They're going to find him. Oh, God. Was that the juke of the century? Nope, they see him. Nope, they don't see him. So Flens pulling off a really, really nice juke there. But that's what I was talking about earlier, is if they try to push high ground too early and it doesn't work out very well, that's basically what happened there, I feel like. They lost 4 heroes and the token. They only lost Imboy on the Legion side. And they did such a great job of shutting down Imboy on this Berserker, and it was well done, and it was what they needed to do. But I feel like they forgot about Zane. 350 gold per minute here, and he's doing work. He's got a Shrunken. He's really difficult to deal with in the team fights. Now he's got a Basher. Pebbles also being a bit of a nuisance, not quite as much as Zane, I don't think, because his sustain damage isn't as high. He's got really, really, really good burst, and that's very nice, but not able to do as much as the fight progresses. As his spells, are on cooldown, it's a little bit harder. But perhaps not doing quite enough to realize that, we have to focus all of our attention on Berserker because he's so dangerous and blah, 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 but, there's a Madman, too. Madman has plenty of carry potential. And I don't think SynC is exactly where they want to be in terms of this game. They're close. They're not super far away from where they want to be. But things can definitely still go wrong for them in this game. So anyway, to finish off the thought I had about the whole MOBA scene right now, I legitimately do think that that Han is a better game than Dota 2. I play Dota 2. It's just I don't think it's as well balanced. I don't think it looks as good. I don't think the mechanics are as good. I just think it's really hard to compete with Valve, because Valve is Valve, and they've got Steam, which everybody runs their games through now. I'm on Steam all the friggin' time because it's so good at what it does. And that gives them a really good advantage when it comes to getting players because, hey, Dota 2, play Dota 2, play Dota 2. Han is on Steam. It's not a part of that client. And for a good reason, because it's a direct competitor to Dota 2. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, K's going to get chucked back, tries to push everybody away. It's not going to be enough here as Imboy is just doing all of the damage. So, smacks Keizu in the face a few times, grabs the kill. And Reason is starting to push this back a little bit. So the thing about that Berserker is he's going for a staff. He's going for a staff of the Master. He's not going for Shrunken. The tower gonna get wrecked.
The Legion had destroyed a Hellborn tower.
And they're pushing down middle here. DD Rune is on Pebbles. Glyph gonna go down, but Jesus, Flensmeister just going nuts. Eruption's available for Magmas, but they don't have Keizu for 20 seconds. He does have a buyback, but they're going to lose his middle tower.
Destroyed a Hellborn tower.
And we'll see if they do anything. Jump there onto Imboboy. Once again, they're focusing him so hard. Nice ultimate from Rhapsody, saving a ton of damage, but they will get him in the end. Meanwhile, Mickey will fall there as well, so ends up being a 1-for-1 so far in favor of the Hellborn side. Zane now going to be the target of choice. He's trying to win with the sock, but Rhapsody is also going to get cut out. Empath trying to port away and will be just fine. So the guys on Reason Gaming will be mostly okay, losing 2 heroes and also picking off Mr. Magmas, but they did get a buyback on Keizu, so not the worst thing in the world there. As the Hellborn side are getting pushed on middle lane, I think they sort of realized, this Berserker, man, he just kills those towers. And he was already starting to beat on the Nacho Cheese Man. I really like that name. I think it's very funny. I don't know why. But anyway, So, you know, we'll see what the future holds for Han. I think a lot of people are honestly too pessimistic. I still think this is a good game.
Destroyed a Legion tower.
And part of the reason it's been having trouble, I think, in the competitive scene recently, the player base, I feel like, is still there. And I still log on regularly and see 100,000 people online, which isn't the best. But if you're regularly drawing those kind of numbers, you've got a successful game. There's no doubt about that. And I think, you know, as far as revenue goes, I don't think S2 is complaining about anything. So there's that. You know, but the thing that people are mostly concerned about, you know, if you're watching this, what you're probably concerned about. If you're playing, what you're concerned about is the growth and the sustainability of the competitive scene. And I think, no doubt, it seems a little lull right now because we're not in Han Tour, which isn't great. But then Han Tour starts up again, and you're like, man, there's competitive matches all the time. I don't like the fact that they took the real money away again. Yeah, that's not as good. You know, gold coins aren't as valuable for them as real money is because you have to be, you either don't spend them or, you know, maybe you weren't going to buy anything anyway. I think a lot of these competitive players get free gold coins a lot anyway, so they're like, I've got like 8,000 million gold coins. I just don't give a shit about gold coins. So I'd like to see them bring back the real money. Obviously, that's a big thing, but part of it is you have to realize that, you know, S2 is a bit of an indie gaming company. They're not a major player. They're not Valve. Now, Riot wasn't either, and they become one. Meanwhile, over here, jump onto Kaz. You're going to get a Sheepstick going to Probusk, and we'll see who dies first. And it's going to be Probusk so far. He's taking all sorts of damage, pops Shrunken Head, and in the meantime, Insania going to draw a nice ultimate from Rhapsody. Will stop by the tablet, but we'll see if they can turn anything down. Flensmeister trying to go down here, head-to-head with Probusk, and he's not going to win that battle. In the meantime, they did get the pick on to nobody else, actually. Insania was the first one to go, so it ended up being a two for nothing. Sorry. And reasons like, I'm going to push this down, double damage is up on Berserker for 30 seconds. This could be Rax. Flensmeister and Insania both have buybacks. Flens is going to have to use one. Empath's going to jump inside of Berserker. He's hitting for 400 damage. Jump there by Mickey onto a couple. Gonna pop a but you see how quickly that Sheepstick wears off? Just does nothing. Nacho Cheese Man is dead. He's trying to live there with the lifesteal, but that's not gonna happen. Empath also gonna fall. So it ends up being a 2 for nothing to counter the 2 for nothing the Legion side got. They lost the melee racks in the meantime. So a good push there. They also force a buyback, of course, out of both Flens and Insania for that matter. So 3 buybacks used for the Hellborn side, just the 1 on the Legion. And notable that Imboboy does not have a buyout. Every single ult is up for the Hellborn except for the energy field. All their cooldowns are up. And they're going to push this down, so we'll see. They might be able to counter these racks. This mid tower has not been touched at all, so I actually don't think they will be able to, but maybe. Well, if Reason isn't going to mount any kind of defense, then they will be able to.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower.
I guess they want to be a little timid here, but this seems too much passivity. Jump going to be there onto Flensmeister before we get the Shrunken. Nice Shrunken there from Probusk. We'll stop the keg. And that's going to back the rest of the Hellborn side off. So they get the tower, they get some damage in the melee racks, but that's going to be it. Imboboy back up. And it cost them a Shrunken cooldown on both Madman and Pebbles, but they'll definitely trade that for maintaining their racks. But the Hellborn, it's a fake back. And they're looking to reinitiate here. Energy field, but the Flux ultimate gonna do nothing. So, not quite able to get what they were looking for. And Boy taking the Purge for no reason, but hey. Hellborn in the meantime not quite able to counter the mid-racks that were accomplished by Reason. Probusk here looking for something. And Torture's trying to lead him into the mines. Hellfire goes off on top of the chain reaction. The chain spike there in the meantime, and Slap's going to get disintegrated. Ultimate for Rhapsody doing a lot, but it's going to be stopped there by the eruption from Magma. Still only Probusk down on the Legion side. In the meantime, Zane will also fall. So ends up being a 2 for 1 so far. massively in favor of the Hellborn. Chain Spike going to go down onto Flensmeister, but he's got some mana left, and they're going to turn this on to Imboboy. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. He will also fall. Ends up being a 3-for-1. Zane going to use a second buyback to try to stop the push from the Legion side, the Hellborn side, excuse me. And we'll see if he can do so. I'm not convinced he can. He's got a Shrunken Head up, so that's really nice. And both supports are alive, so maybe this will be enough. But he's going to have to be really careful about how he does this. Wall goes down, we'll stop the Portal Key, but they're just going to focus on the racks here. Shrunken Head gets popped by Zane, and they're continuing to do the racks, so that's going to be a counter. Sheepstick drops as well. Nice pullback in from Flux. Going to be a pretty easy kill over here onto Zane. Oh, little too tanky. And Mickey looks like he's going to try to get away, and he will do so. Portal Key just enough. Dust is not on Flux. I think it was on Magnus, though. Flensmeister jumping in from, like, the entire map away, using all his mana, but they do get the pick onto Saint Rock, so not bad there. And he's got another Arcana. Is that... That's not a refresher, is it? Like, it can't be a refresher. And what else does Arcana make? Harkons. Sorry, I never buy Harkons. I'm not sure if I've ever bought Harkons in my entire life. And I've played a lot of Han. So, that's not an item that immediately jumps to mind when I think of that. Like, Arcanas. Oh, Harkons. Notable that Flens has 450 gold per minute. So, the Doctor has recovered. Poor start. Not that poor, but not the greatest by any means. And now sitting on a Hellflower Sheepstick and looking for a Harkon's Blade. So, it's just, to be honest, I'm not sure if that's the greatest thing. They've got two Shrunkens here on the Legion side, and Berserker's not going for one, so I think that's the theory. But he does have the Mystic Vestments there to add to his magic armor. Still lower than his physical armor, but Flens won't be able to auto-attack either Probusk or Zane when they have Shrunkens up, of course, so he's going to have to be really careful about toggling that. Kongor is alive once again, wearing his party diaper. So, while we have a lull here, I'll actually try to finish what I was saying before about the competitive scene and shit like that, but it seems to me like a big part of the problem is the fact that everybody's so convinced that everything is so bad. I'm not sure it is, and I'm not sure it's as dire as a lot of people think it is, but honestly, a big issue with things getting worse is everybody saying they're bad. If the competitive people that were interested in the competitive scene weren't constantly saying Han dead game and everything's so awful and S2 is so terrible and everything about this is awful and nobody should like it and the scene is dead and everything sucks, I think things would get better. I think part of the reason that it does seem like things are going downhill, because they definitely are. I'm not going to ignore that and put my head in the sand. I think that the level of play that we have actually is just fine. The issue is we don't have as many teams. It's not as robust in terms of the actual competition. You've got SynC and BMG way at the top. I think Reason is close-ish to them. Rexars are interesting, but they're not quite there. Excellent showed some promise, but I don't think they were going to do too much. Meanwhile, jump here onto Imboboy, but Empath is inside. We'll see if he can do anything. Obviously, taking all sorts of Sheepstick lockdown and won't be able to do anything. Saint Rock's also going to die. That's going to be a 2 for nothing. And I think we're going to see a bot Rax from this as well. Glenn's going to jump in once again. Obviously, still has that token. Doesn't care too much about dying, but Imboboy with the buyback coming back in. Nice eruption there from Magnus. Won't be enough to stop the Rhapsody ultimate, of course, but that didn't do too much. She will also die. Zane in some trouble, gonna get us down, and he's gonna fall. Ends up being another 4 kills. 3 kills, excuse me. And as the dieback is there, and the GG's. Yeah. So, nice game there, as they took to 49 minutes, and Reason showed some promise. They had some ability to kill that, to take that game. I think the fact that Berserker was just never really able to get off the ground, obviously, a pretty serious problem. But well played to SynC, as they were wobbling a little bit there, but they managed to right the ship and come back and win the game. But just to finally finish what I was saying, I think, be positive. Be a little more positive, people. Just, if you don't think things are going that well, I understand that, but be helpful. Be positively critical. And say, okay, this is happening and this is happening. Let's try this. Let's do that. Let's do that. S2 should do this. Come up with ideas. Find solutions. If you don't do that and you just bitch all the time about how terrible everything, things don't get better, and then everybody gets demoralized and thinks, oh, there's no point in helping, everything is going to be bad forever, and this is not even worth paying attention to anymore. I don't think that's true. I don't think this is lost. I don't think it's anywhere near lost. I think it's not even all that bad. But anyway, it's enough of my overly optimistic point of view, as some people will no doubt feel it is. But that's going to do it for the Scrim series, as SynC takes it 1-0.